What do you say? What did you say, Joe?
Such a brat.
How dare you call me a brat? I know your fears.
Ghost.
That light that you sleep with, Joe, that won't save you.
But they promised me it would.
What?
Hey, guys, we just got back from a double header.
Yeah.
This week we saw multiple movies. We saw The Gentleman, and we saw this review's featured film, The Turning. I can tell you right now.
The only thing you
The
need to do
Turning-
is turn away from this movie, huh?
No,
No,
that
damn
was
it.
weak.
I tried.
All right, well, I'll give you an A for effort. Turn away from this film,
Yes.
says OtherJoe. It blows. The Gentleman was awesome. Go check that out. Check out our review of that. But here on this review, let's blast this film a new asshole because it kind of wasted my fucking time and turns out to be another January horror
Yeah, I was about
dud.
to say that. It was a horror in January, so.
If you don't know why I'm
much.
wearing a wig, it's because
Finn Wolfhard.
No, Finn Wolfhard is
Wolfhard.
in the film, and he is, this is his hairstyle in everything apparently. So hopefully I look good. Sorry, Joe. Go ahead.
It's another flop for horror movies in January.
Yeah. Let me say this. I was picking up on something. I don't know what it is about this film, but I was picking up on some interesting elements, whether it's filmed competently or whether the concept is interesting. Now, it is based upon a novel.
Mm-hmm.
It's based upon, what is it called?
Turn of the Screw, I believe.
Turn of the Screw. And I'm willing to bet the source material is much better than what we saw here because I was picking up on some interesting elements. And I guess what the director was going for here was a very, very slow burn and oppressive film, like just so relentless and oppressive, but relentlessly boring. Oppressive type of boring. But it's not like C-movie boring. It's not like, kind of nothing is happening boring. It's just odd because it's like competent boring, but it's still boring.
I've seen better B movies than this.
No.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
You're
Well,
right. You're
okay.
right. But I don't know what movies you watch,
I
Joe.
watched
I
Sex
don't.
Squad.
I don't compare the movies that you watch
I
to this. I just don't fucking waste your time. All right. It tries to play with this gothic horror. It plays with many. Let's not spoil it. We'll wait for the spoiler section. I know you say, well, why can't we spoil it? Look. Basically, this film, by the end, you're going to be like, what the fuck? What the fuck? Joe put...
But not in a good way.
Yeah, Joe showed me a picture. No, it was Alex that showed me the picture. Yeah. I'm going to put up the picture right here, right now. Mm-hmm. This is you at the end of the theater. I mean, this at the end of the film, you will be doing this.
Yes.
Yep.
You even said, like, what? You
No, I
screamed
screamed out in the
You were out
theater.
loud. You're like, what?
No. I said no.
Yeah.
No. That is not the end, I said, Alex. And everybody else in the
Everybody
theater
else was like,
was on my side.
Yeah.
There was the drunk guy in the front, He
Very
was
drunk
pissed.
guy.
He was pissed.
Well, he knew.
The first 30 minutes wasn't bad, and I actually was leaning towards enjoying it, but the first 30 minutes of all of the movies like this kind of do the same thing. You go into a creepy house. You remember the movie The Haunting with Catherine Zeta-Jones?
Yes, I do.
Reminded me a lot about this because like there's a bad CG person, and then there's this big scary house, and there's creepy things happening, and you're like, oh, is it going to be cool?
Creepy kids that give you
it
smiles.
looks exactly like
Yeah.
It's weird.
I watch you when you're sleeping.
I will say one thing about the film. I think the best actor in the film was a little girl.
She was good.
The little girl was a really excellent actor. She was very natural. She didn't seem like she was reading her lines and stuff.
What about
well done.
Terminator?
What?
Mackenzie Davis?
Yeah, she was Terminator.
Oh,
You
yeah.
like her?
Yeah,
She-
she was all right in the film. It's just the material that she's given.
It was real bad. Everyone in this movie is way braver than I am. Like, there's...
No, don't say the brave, Alex, because it's stupidity.
Well, it is stupid. But there's so many times where she's like, maybe I'll leave, and then something horrible happens. It's like, I would have noped the fuck out of there
Yeah, it's like,
3 days ago.
How do you go back to sleep after
It's
that?
one of those horror films that you're like, get the fuck out of the house, and then they go back. And they've a lot of good horror films.
Movie.
A lot of good horror films will explain this. This film doesn't explain it. It does something separate where she's like, all right, I'm going to quit my job. And she gets on the phone with her friend, a roommate. She's like, I'm going to come back. And her roommate's like, yeah, come back. And then she's like, nah, I don't want to come back. It's like the roommate doesn't even convince her to stay. She just convinces herself to stay. And that gives us the motivation. But some of the other things that start happening, you're like, no. No. At that point, you peace out. But they keep her there to keep everything going. And I described this film to Alex like this, as we were leaving. It's like a Jack in the Box, and you're cranking it, and it's like the end.
No, it drags on for half an hour in the center.
And
That's the movie, guys.
that is the movie. But then, right at the end, it does. Pop! Right, ship of it, Simmons, they will find it. And then the fucking box explodes and disappears in my face, and you will know exactly what I said if you've seen the film. That is exactly the movie. Is it not?
Yeah, the Joe in your theater will also yell, "No, no!"
I yelled. I didn't give a fuck. I was like, fuck this movie.
Yeah,
and
not a lot of
Joe
people
wanted to leave right away, but me and Alex were like, no.
There has to be.
We
No.
have
There just
to
fucking
not
has to
wasted
be
our time.
something.
It wasn't
Because
worth
it's
my
one of
time.
those abrupt endings, and there's no answers, no explanation. You
Left to
figure it out in yourself. Now,
interpretation.
maybe
It's not even a
that's-
real good
It's not.
version, because there's movies where you're like, oh man, they leave it up and it's up for you to decide. This is a terrible instance where there's like, I don't give a shit. I do not care
No, I don't
what
give
it, what,
a
how it.
fuck.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
I do like and I like you. I like those films. I like to go back
Done
and
right.
think about
That's
it
what it
and
was,
look
yeah.
at it, and I'm like, no, this doesn't make sense.
No.
It's not earned sufficiently. Now, I can't say much more other than that without trying to spoil it. So we'll talk a little bit in spoilers.
Okay.
Let's just fucking review this thing. Give it a score, Joe.
There was a lot of unwarranted jump scares.
Was it scary?
No, there wasn't. It
Okay.
was just loud noises.
I started
there was
laughing.
no there was
Me
no
and
buildup.
Alex were laughing
Every
when
time-
there was that head in the den.
Yeah.
Just okay.
All right, we'll have to. Yeah,
Just
we'll have to
loud
save it.
noises, no build-up, no nothing.
Hmm.
The story was like boring to me. Once this turn happens at the end, you don't care. I'm just so disconnected with everyone. I don't care about any of the characters or anything. This is probably gonna be. I'm probably being generous. So 4.
Ooh, wow, that's high, right?
Joe, that's
That's
pretty
higher
high.
than
Are
The
you
Grudge,
sure?
right?
Think
I'm gonna
about
give this
that.
a Grudge out of 10. I don't even
I'd
remember.
rather see this if you had to pick.
Okay,
I
well,
would
no,
rather
I
see-
respect that, Joe.
I-
Maybe
yeah, I
you're
would
picking
rather
up
see
on some of the
that.
same vibes that I was picking
It
up on.
could have been done
here
better,
and there,
but
yeah. Okay.
I think this one started out okay. It did the easy things well, and then the hard things is like horror movies always kind of spiral out of control, and this one definitely spiraled out of control. It got to the point where the characters were so stupid or so brave or whatever the hell they were that I wanted them to die. I wanted bad things to happen to the people that I'm supposed to be rooting for. It's like, lady, you are the stupidest person. Like, not just in this movie. And we've seen some stinkers this month. Like, she's one of the stupidest people in any of the movies that we've seen. And it's, I don't want you to live. And I want you to die. I want the kids to die. I want the other lady
Burn
to
the whole
die.
house down.
I want the
Fuck
house
it.
get burned down. And I just don't care anymore. And so that's the problem I would have with rewatching this movie is it kind of reminds me, like, now that we know how it ends, as you're watching it, you're just like, well, I don't care about any of this because you told me that it ends and nothing happens. So I'm going to give this a 3. I think is what I gave Grudge. I'm going to give this a 3 out of 10.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and give it a 3.
Very confident.
Right. 3.
Yeah, that's pretty much what. That's spot on. That's good acting right there.
Wolf is, he's a dick in the film. He's supposed to be a dick.
Yeah,
What's his name?
exactly.
Miles,
Miles.
home from boarding school.
Who cares?
And, you just don't care about the characters. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't earn the twist or the ending. And then it goes even stupider. And you're like, no, what? That's insulting. You're insulting the intelligence of the audience. It doesn't feel earned. And I understand what it's trying to do. And I can't talk about it here, but I'll talk about it in spoilers. So it is a 3. I am picking up on some good elements. That's why I rated it higher than The Grudge, because I do respect this like, fuck it. Let's just fucking,
So at least it was
let's
brave.
do it.
It was brave to do something so incredibly
it was
stupid.
brave to do
Yes.
something stupid. And how did this manage to get made like this? I like a little bit of that audacity. Like, the director must have been just, check this out.
Just whipping up their own
Anyways, guys, that's it. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to know what the fuck we're talking about and you want to rant with us on this thing,
It's not worth seeing, so come to the
no.
spoilers.
yeah,
section.
come to the spoiler section with us right now, okay? See you guys there. Welcome to the fucking spoiler section. So the turning is essentially her turning insane. So
Maybe. You don't know.
No, she turns insane, and it's very poorly executed because the reason why I know for sure she's insane and it's not up to interpretation is because the kids are talking about her. They're shit-talking her behind her back. Even the little girl is shit-talking her and scared of her at this point, who has been the rock of the film and who has been quite nice and stuff. So they set this up and they plant seeds, but the seeds are very weakly planted and not explained and very shoved to the side, and the wrong things are focused on. She goes to her mother before going to her new nanny job in this massive house. Her mother is in a home for the mentally ill, and she's just detached from everybody, painting and just kind of not responsive except for a few times. Doing her own thing. And, so you're like, interesting. Then she goes over there, and, it's nice at first. The little girl's great. She's taking care of her. She previously has this was a teacher who dealt with 32 kids, and now she's only dealing with 1, right? And her roommate's real nice, and their relationship, they're funny, they're great. And then she goes off. And as we progress along there, she starts to lose her mind, and she sees things. And she latches on to this idea that Quentin, this groundskeeper, is haunting.
I think this is where I gave it another point because he looks like Sirius Black.
He did kind of look like Sirius Black, but he had this.
It's Sirius Black.
They hide him in the mirrors in a lot of scenes, even early on.
Harry Potter, Joe?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
He does a little bit with shorter hair.
Size.
With shorter hair.
So I'm thinking, is this film gonna go with possession? Maybe this Quentin guy was into some voodoo shit.
That's what I was
and
thinking.
he possessed
Miles or something.
Miles, his character, because Miles is just a fucking dick throughout the whole thing. He's been kicked out of boarding school for beating up a kid,
Supposedly.
and he's just no, he did, and he's just an asshole.
Maybe she dreamt that too. Maybe he was always
Maybe
there.
the movie didn't happen at all, and we'll get our money back somehow. Can we do that?
Yeah,
I think
tell
you're
him.
turning, Alex. If you think you're getting your money back. So, anyways, she's losing her mind. She sees, him in mirrors, and she sees this woman that he obsessed over, and she reads through the fucking journal of the woman, and she's like, this Quentin guy's crazy and everything, and it's like, well, what the fuck? Your job is to teach and to be the nanny of this kid. And she never reads any of the articles and picks up where the last, caretaker left off. If she did, she would have seen that, there was some shit going down.
Yeah, apparently she found like a whole bunch of other photos.
Right,
and all
which
this
doesn't make sense because it's right there and all this stuff. So unless all of it is made up in her head.
This whole
but then
thing
that's
was made-
not fucking earned. It's not set up. It's not planted. It
Exactly.
doesn't make it doesn't work. And you break your suspension of disbelief.
Yeah.
So she thinks Quentin's possessed. She keeps going on these dream sequences. She's sleepwalking. Is she really? doing these things, or is she sleepwalking? She's sleepwalking. Every time she wears her red jacket or red sleeping coat or whatever, she's not in real life. This could be, in her head. And so you want to go back and look at the movie, but I don't want to watch this thing again.
Just fast forward later.
No.
So eventually it culminates into her getting sick and tired. It's like, fuck these kids, or fuck this Miles guy. He's being mean to me. I'm going to leave. Takes off, stops at the phone booth, talks with her friend, decides she's going to go back.
Because she made a promise.
You made a promise to the little girl, because the little girl has no parents. Her parents died in a car accident, has no bearing on anything, whatever. So you go back, and the little girl of wanting to leave, she, I guess, has the reason why she didn't leave. She saw her parents die in a car accident. Mm-hmm. Anyways. Just fucking stupid. She has a hide-and-seek game towards the end of the film. So it's a lot of these just spinning the wheels the whole fucking time. And
you're just bored.
And at some point, this spinning wheel, it gets oppressive. It's like, stop it. Stop doing this to me. But I kind of respect that part of it, where it's like so fucking oppressive.
Making you insane.
Right, mate. That's what I kind of respected that a little bit, and that came through a tiny bit. Finally, they go on the hide and seek, and she finds the girl right away, and I'm like, here we go. He goes down in the basement, and she follows Quinn, who. This Miles, has been a fucking dick to her all the time. I'm like, I'm not going to find him. I found the girl.
Yeah.
Fuck him.
I'm going to go have a cup of tea.
But no, she follows him, and he goes into the deep, dark dungeon. And then as she gets there, she sees the lady again. And she's like, and then her flashlight gets taken away from her. And this light is being shown on her, shined on her a bunch of times. And then...
breaks her nose.
Yeah, breaks her nose, and she goes upstairs, and she realizes, well, there's Miles. He's been here for that, and this, I forget to talk about this caretaker, this old lady. She's like, Miles has been here for 15 minutes. What are you talking about? Why are you being acting like that? Too. She's a fucking bitch this whole fucking time, and and so she thinks that Quentin is haunting the house. Eventually, she goes into the East Wing. Where the girl says...
That's where Beast lives, right?
Yeah. Yes. The girl says, I don't go into that part of the house. Well, why you don't go into that part of the house if this is all in her head? Well, whatever.
Well, how did the mannequin's head twist around in the first act of the movie if it's all in her head and she wasn't in the room? None of this fucking makes any goddamn sense.
Nice fucking callback. I didn't remember that part.
Yeah. They just throw shit in there for the sake of throwing shit in there.
You're cheap. That's cheap. You can't fucking do that because that's not her brain making that thing turn. Yeah. Is it fucking both? This film is both. Anyway, so she goes in, and the final climax of the film, it's been boring for fucking 80, 90%, and then they rush everything in this last 10%, and then they say on the cutting room floor, they cut that 10% in half, and it's just 5%, and the other 5% is not in the film. The credits start rolling while the film is not finished, and then it ends. You're like, what the fuck? Anyways, during that little climax, she goes into this wing, and she goes into a room where this bed is fucking jarring as if there's sex going on and shit. Yeah. And then she starts to see visions, like a fucking matte painting of this woman being brutalized and raped.
Sirius Black.
And it was fucking Quentin or Sirius Black. And
so we saw this poor woman die 3 different ways in this movie. The opening scene, she dies at the gate.
Yeah.
He strangles her at the gate. And then we see her...
No, I didn't see a strangle. It was just the lady who showed her.
I thought he took her to the lake.
Okay. Yeah. And then she gets drowned in the lake, and then she gets choked out in this bed to death.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we see her die a bunch of different times. We don't know what's real.
Maybe he took her, choked in the bed, threw her in the lake.
No, I think he did that first, took her in the lake, then saved her from the lake because she's gurgling out water while she's being raped. She's like wet and stuff, and then he threw her back into the fucking lake.
That doesn't make any fucking sense.
I don't care.
Anyways, so he finishes and he looks at our main character Terminator, and he starts to come after her.
Well,
but
first he puts his ghost dong away. He's like, hold on, I gotta put my ghost dong away, which was like the weirdest thing.
And the effect is so fucking stupid. It's like the goddamn, it's like CGI, and you're like, okay. But it's like, okay, finally, I had a small bit of respect. It's like, finally, the film reveals what it really is, and it's like
a piece
so
of shit.
hokey. It's a piece of shit, but let's go with it. Let's actually have this ghost start manifesting in real life. And I'm like, good, fuck. I like a standard ghost story where he's like fucking manipulating real matter, and then the old nanny comes up like, what are you doing? And then fucking CGI Quentin throws her off the fucking balcony.
Like, the lady's like real skinny as fuck. And once she gets thrown over, she's like all big and muscular going down.
Oh, yeah.
Stunt double.
Stunt double, yeah.
You noticed that?
Buff as hell.
Yeah.
Damn, I missed that. She fucking cracks her neck and dies, and there's blood all over the ground. And then at that point, she's like, we got to get out of here. There's a fucking monster, coming. So she grabs a little girl, and she's like, you got to put your face on. They have this stupid callback about a brave face, which is dumb as fuck. And so she's like, let's go. And then Wolf goes, and then she asks, Miles to quit being a dick and help your sister because Quinn's gonna fucking kill her at some point, and we'll he won't let me leave.
Yeah.
But you know what? For my sister, let's go. And then he's nice for once, and then they fucking get in the car, and they're like, go. And she comes up to the gate, and you think, oh fuck, he's gonna kill her because
he's in the back seat.
And then, but no, the gate opens, and then they drive, and you're like, okay. I was like, all right, well,
they made it up.
At least there's something. But then the car zooms out, and then the little taillights turn black and white, and all of a sudden we're in a fucking painting. We're in the painting that her mom sent her in another random scene. And then the nanny's like, well, I hope you don't turn out like your mom. Your mom has something.
Hope it's not genetic. And if you're confused about what we just talked about, so was everyone in the movie theater. And everyone's like, what the fuck just happened? And it rewinds 15 minutes into the movie.
It literally rewinds.
And then all of the characters change. They no longer, Finn's still kind of a dick.
They don't act like the way that they fucking act
the entire movie,
which, they're talking shit about her behind a door, and you're like supposed to buy all this, and you're like, is it in her head? Is it real? It's real, or
she's crazy.
Whatever. Mm-hmm. And then, she sees Quentin in the mirror again, and she's like, did you see him? And nobody sees him, and Miles is like, nobody sees
You're
anything.
Crazy.
And you're crazy. And he does a smile in again, And then the film zooms in on her eye. And then in her eye, we see her on a bed at the foot of the bed, and then she gets off of the bed, and then she walks.
The bed was in a pool, a drained pool, which was where her mom was being crazy.
Yeah,
painting.
And then she looks at her mother from behind,
and her mom's crazily painting, and she's furiously painting, and her mom starts to turn around, and as she turns around, it cuts to the main character going, ah!
And then the credits.
And then the credits go up with a sort of macabre gothic hand. We don't know if it's the main character.
It is.
It's
hers,
every time she gets nervous, you
picks
see she's picking it.
Okay, got
and then
it. Right.
Her fingers are all bloody by the end.
Painting, fucking, or running her fingers across the painting. It's assumed
Then
that she's basically her mom. That scene to me is she saw herself in her mom.
She turned into her mom.
She turned into her mother. Confront. That's the stuff happening in her head. Click, snaps. And she's now fucking crazy, I guess.
Yep. But her mom's like, good, I'm going to do art, and do really nice art, crazy. Cool. She's not like, I'm going to hallucinate and this weird ghost sexual assault and shaking kids and drowning dolls.
Fucking stupid. And I don't know if the novel is more open-ended or it makes sense or it leaves out so many elements from the novel. And then you said that it's going to be adapted.
Someone on the internet said, I didn't look into it yet, but someone is, I think, working on another adaptation of the same source material, but I don't know. I don't know if that's true.
Yeah.
The only way I could justify it in my head is that it's both. There is a ghost. There is something going down at this fucking house. And she was already susceptible to having her mind snapped, so if she snaps, the ghost is there. Miles is a dick, and Quentin is haunting the house.
Who knows? We'll see part 2.
Nope. I'm not going with both. I'm going with neither. And it doesn't.
You can't do that.
Neither.
Joe,
didn't happen.
Is she crazy or is there a haunting?
We'll see part 2.
No.
She's crazy.
Yes, it's 100% she's crazy, but I'm trying to justify it to make the film work, and I don't know why I'm doing that. This
Yeah,
is a
me
piece
neither.
of shit. Don't see it. It's definitely one of those shitty January movies, and surprisingly, this January we've gotten good movies. Though 1917 doesn't count because that's
It's
December.
December.
But this other film that we saw, go watch our review for it, The Gentleman. That's our hope.
Yep.
Hope for January. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you on the next Angry Joe Show.
Bye, guys.